Great.
Oh, we're not there yet. Hello. 1, 2, 1, 2. Lovely. So I said this on the radio the other night. Actually, I said 1, 2, 1, 2. In the middle of the song. That was good. Something of a technical error going on, and what was going on wasn't going on. That makes no sense. Anyway, hello, welcome. I'm John Kerr. I present a radio program on the BBC and BBC Radio Ulster. It's called The Late Show. It's really the actors to comfort, connect, and distract the everyday challenges of life. And so, if the session doesn't go so well, you would have won any day later on, 10 o'clock or 2 midnight breaks. Now, but the difficult questions part of the panel here, who I'll introduce shortly. I'll tell you a little bit more about me as well. I began in the BBC through the Youth Employment Scheme, run through a charity called CSB, Community Service Volunteers, but this very month, actually 11 years ago, and we kind of got 3 months training as a journalist, and then 3 months of attachment with the department of our choice, so I did leave that again because it was rather competitive. Got into BBC Sport and met our good friend Thomas here again, who I'll introduce in a little minute. But I set about working throughout the BBC, trying to better myself and do lots of different jobs. I played tour guide, I worked with audiences and events, I ran for the newsroom, so that was 5, 6 a.m. starts, making teas and coffees for people. Yeah, did that too. Answered phones for radio programs and early shifts. Took audio cue dance for presenters to follow their words live on air and progress within various roles en route to my broadcasting dream. So, I'm a finished product, by the way, right? And that's the thing within broadcasting, within media. You know, it's a privilege to have pressure. And in the context of the BBC and media generally as well, if you choose to see it that way, I think it's a good thing. But I encourage you all to, just with everything discussed today at the BBC, keep a total picture in mind, right? Pre and post-production, and also just your passion always lead the way. Never lose your passion. I've seen too many people lose it along my way. Today I'm here with the BBC Academy Live, who provide training and development designed to support the BBC and the wider industry. They deliver events to help nurture and grow skills for those working in the industry or new to it, and deliver events such as Production Unlocked, the next one happening on the 2nd of December. You should be able to see that on the screen. There we go, yeah. Streaming from Cardiff, so set a reminder to book your tickets when they come out on Monday. And thanks all for joining us today as we focus on media careers and working at the BBC, but also the wider creative industry. Whether you're starting out or looking to take the next step, or even just to change your career as well, this session will be sharing real insights and hopefully give you some ideas and suggestions to shape your own path. Firstly, can I have a show of hands, please? How many people up here are studying, college, university, and the like? Great, okay. You guys take note, all right, take note. And then how many are new to the industry? Maybe you've just started, looking to make their break even? Okay, so it's pretty nice split. I have 3 BBC colleagues, as I mentioned, joining me, who will be talking about their journey into the world of media, how they landed their first job at the BBC, what challenges they faced, and what tips and valuable advice they could offer you. We're also going to talk about BBC apprenticeship schemes, which are currently open for applications to, and even if the schemes aren't relevant to you, perhaps they will be to someone you know. All right, without further ado, we were planning to do a little walkout. I thought this just killed the theatrics. Gemma Cunningham, would you like to introduce yourself, Gemma?
Hello, I'm Gemma.
TV series producer for BBC Northern Ireland, am I right? That's the correct job title. Thomas Niblock.
Yeah, Thomas Niblock, sports presenter for BBC, and had tea made by you once upon a time as well, has to be said. Yeah, generally speaking, formerly Sky, ITV, BBC since 2008, doing lots of things.
And creator of a podcast at GAA, so if you want BBC songs, go and listen. Christiana Sheehan, production apprentice with the BBC Radio Ulster Music and Entertainment Department, am I right in saying? There you go. So Christiana has quite literally been where many of you are aware or not now, and going through those questions with the apprenticeships in mind, for sure. Gemma, first of all, can you tell us about yourself? I got to sit down as well, so isn't it? Oh, this is lovely. Gemma, tell us about yourself, what your current role is, maybe, and what a typical day looks like in the day life of Gemma.
Well, it's a bit weird for me because I'm never usually holding a microphone. I'm usually standing criticising the person holding the microphone behind the camera going, hurry up, for God's sake, how long does it take? So yeah, I am what they call a series producer. I am in the very privileged position to work with the BBC now for 3 decades. Is that 30 years? Yeah, 3 decades, yeah. I started as a news trainee, and I now work in documentaries, making TV and podcast. There is no such thing as a typical day. There are days when I'm out filming with crews, there's days when I'm recording podcasts, and I also do live studio for TV. So yeah, the beauty of what I do is just that there is no typical day. My thing has always been I love telling a story, and I love thinking of different ways to tell stories and capture people's imagination. And I just love that is my job, that I get paid to do that. And so there are, even on the crappiest day, I think, my God, what else would I be capable of doing? Nothing. Telling stories and helping people tell their stories is what I enjoy most, and I feel so gifted and blessed to be able to do that.
Awesome. Thomas, over to you. What does a typical day look like these days?
Tell you what, I'm not wearing the outfit Gemma's wearing now.
I borrowed this off you.
She's looking great. Looking great.
I'm sweating.
So, my background, I suppose, this night, a notion about, not bore everybody with it, but a notion about sports journalism when I was a youngster. 4 things I wanted to do: PE teacher, like that. Pilot, they are a pilot, but you would have had to either have £100,000 to pay for that, which we didn't have, coming from a very working class family, or maybe join the military to get it paid for you, which wasn't really an option for me. And then a hairdresser, because there's this guy, Seamus from Mahorfell, who's the coolest man that God has ever put in this plant, and he used to wear these funky outfits. And stuff. I want to be like that guy, you know? And then grew out of that stage, and then sports journalist. So when I was 4th year in school, I sent a letter to UTV for a week's work experience. We knew nobody in there, and lucky enough they came back and said, we'll offer you a week. And during that week, I was absolutely sure that is what I wanted to do. So I started writing part-time for the Mid-Ulster Observer, a paper back in the day, Mahorfell. And then I switched schools to my A-levels. I did work experience in Irish News, and quite determined, writing for different publications, became PRO, which is Public Relations Officer of the local football club, and sent a letter to the sports editor of the Times for about 8 months, one every 2 or 3 weeks, saying, look, I'm obviously a big deal now, at 18 years of age. I don't think the Mid-Ulster Observer's for me now. I'm thinking that the Times in London is more my thing. I was going to phone in sick during school and go over there for a week, but you probably don't realise that your school pays your indemnity insurance for work experience. So eventually I kept asking, they said, right, if you pay for your indemnity insurance, you can go over. So over for a week in London, never been to plane before, and they sent me down to the Excel Centre in London because there was this guy called Ronaldo who just signed for Manchester United. And the only reason they sent down there was because we're all far too young to realise there was a Ronaldo before Ronaldo. And they got a piece printed at 17, then did an undergrad at Queen's, did a master's in journalism. And by the time, there was 8 people in NI, I think, were allowed to do the master's in journalism, if I remember correctly, and said, why should we offer you the opportunity to start your career with us? Because a lot of people did go for it. But I came in with like a box of the clippings that I'd been writing since 15, and at that stage I was like 22. So you had 7 years practical experience. And I got into the course, and then later the professor told me after that, you were in, you know. So I suppose my story is very much multi-skill, throw enough mud at the wall, some of it may stick. Don't come from a traditional background in terms of getting into places like BBC traditionally, and maybe media more broadly. But long story short, I present a podcast, I would report, I would make documentaries, I do some stuff in the independent sector, I'm afraid, outside BBC as well, so it's kind of a big broad brush. So I have the board.
That's a great answer. Great answer, present. Tough act, probably. But an apprentice would be able to discuss shortly, but what are your typical day these days looking for the BBC industry?
There's not really a typical day, especially at the minute. Like, the past 6 months has been a bit of a whirlwind, especially. I've got to take advantage. We have an external placement scheme that's only came in this year. So I've been able to work with some independent companies within Northern Ireland. So I've been doing that past couple of months. I was working on children in need or babies last week, and then this week I'm here. Yeah, so there's not really been, especially the past couple of months, not really been a typical day, which I am loving. Not prepared, having something different. And yeah, every day at the minute is kind of what I'm making it, which is really nice. But if I'm in the office and something interesting is going on somewhere and I'm not busy with my current work, then you can have the option to go and work on that. So it's been absolutely amazing for like when I've had the confidence to do it, for like grabbing opportunities as they arise. So yeah, I can't really say there's been a difficult day, but every day's been amazing. Thank you.
Just to corroborate what Christina said about that particular day, last week I saw her down, but I walked a half mile because I'm so big, I can't do a mile or something, it's so tall.